Conklin and Company with 13 ABC Action News anchor Lee Conklin. First with what's happening behind the headlines. And Take 3, our panel of political analysts.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Conklin and Company. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to you and yours. We hope that you're having a great and safe holiday season. Today on the program, MayorElect Collins announces his leadership team upon taking office on January 2nd. There's a new police chief, financial officer, much more, but there are some holdovers from the Bell administration. That and more in Take 3 today. We're going to get ready to ring in 2014 with a New Year's Eve party. So you say, Conklin, so what? There are a lot of New Year's Eve parties out there, but this one really carries a lot of historical significance. Why it's so special, we'll have that in our second segment today. But first, one of the leaders set to move into Government Center upon, well, we believe, January 2nd, upon the mayor-elect taking office. His job to spur economic growth in the city of Toledo. Right now, he's the chief operating officer of the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority. No stranger to this program, Matt Sapara.
Good morning.
Matt, good morning. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Believe, right?
No, certainly. This is an exciting day, sure.
We believe certainly the council will, when we have the new council in place on January 2nd, that they will approve your appointment as economic development leader, director.
We're still going through the title
Okay,
process right now.
that title's a work in progress,
It
but
is.
you're no stranger to this. But your position, Matt, during the course of the mayoral campaign became one of the central focuses, really. Who will be the person to champion economic development in Toledo?
Sure. It's always the focus of any race is job creation. It's kind of funny. I've looked at my position at the Port Authority for the last 11 and a half years, and it's kind of been an internship for preparing me for this position, and I've been very fortunate to develop a lot of strong relationships with people in the industry, in the community. But I've also had a great benefit to work with a terrific board of directors and certainly a great mentorship program under Paul Toth. Learned a lot about how to work with people, how to develop projects, and those are all invaluable skills that I hope that I'm going to be able to bring to the city of Toledo.
Now, during the campaign, Matt, did you take a look at it perhaps from a distance and say, yeah, I think I'd like to do that job? Or were there talks going on that we didn't hear about? What can you tell us this morning?
Ironically, no, there was no discussions prior to election night. I've always been committed to the development of Northwest Ohio. That is something that I've just always been focused on, certainly at the Port Authority. Those discussions didn't start taking place until after MayorElect Collins, it was officially announced that he was the mayor. And then we just has had more discussions and more discussions about it. And what really sold me was honestly sitting down with the mayor-elect and understanding what his vision was and understanding the resources and the flexibility that he's going to allow this position to have, because he recognizes how important it is to the future.
How important is it that MayorElect Collins keep the hands off and let you do what you feel you need to do?
Sure. Well, that was obviously a really big point to me. There was a lot of mayors certainly in the past that were certainly engaged in that, and it's not a right or wrong thing. It's just the way that it was. But one of the things that really attracted me to this position was just having that flexibility. Once again, after almost 12 years at the Port Authority, I think I have a pretty good feel for the recognition of what needs to be done. And what we have to do is create a process and a system that really kind of transcends administrations. Not something that kind of may get replaced every 4 years, but something that really is we can create for the sustainability of Northwest Ohio.
I'm going to throw a cliche at you, and you can tell me what you think about it. But you've had a chance. It's not like you're coming in from another place, so you know the challenges the city, this region face. So how do you hit the ground running when you start? What do you do in that first 100 days?
Certainly. Matt? Well, the first thing we do, honestly, is just we get on the ground and we start creating those processes. There's a lot of challenges we have here in Northwest Ohio, and specifically the city of Toledo. What we have to really focus on is
biggest of which is what?
Well, being more business friendly. I think that's first and foremost what we have to do. And
so you think those critics of Mayor Bell, previous mayors in previous administrations were correct?
I really
We've heard for a long time.
I really think that, and certainly not a criticism of Mayor Bell at all. I'm a huge supporter of him and his administration, but I think we can do better in terms of project development and in terms of understanding how the process the city of Toledo has and that we have to go through to really develop projects. And that's one of the things we're going to focus on. I've made a living at the last 11 and a half years at the Port Authority developing those relationships. That's not going to change. Relationship development is really what you have to do in economic development. You have to understand that.
Your responsibility will be with the city of Toledo now, and Port Authority, I mean, it's a branched out entity, correct? I mean, so now Owens, Illinois, goes to Perrysburg. Dana Corporation goes to Maumee. We see those Fortune 500 companies leave. So what do you do to keep them here?
First and foremost, you make this the most a very special place in terms of how they develop their business model here. You build those relationships. The mayor is going to sit down with those leaders in those companies just to explain what the vision is, how the process is of what we're developing, so that we can continue to move forward. Certainly, myopically looking at it, you'd want to say in my position, well, geez, you don't want them to leave, and you certainly don't.
And we're happy they're still in Northwest
exactly
Ohio.
Right.
We want them here.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're also going to focus on retention and expansion. Right now, you talk about the Port Authority being a separate entity. Well, certainly it is. But there's programs in place where all of the economic development partners work together. Yeah. The City of Toledo, the Regional Growth Partnership, certainly the Port Authority. I suspect there's not going to be a day that goes by where I don't reach out and work with the RGP, with the Port Authority, with Lucas County.
So it's Matt Sapar talking to Paul Toth, Dean Monsky,
everybody. Absolutely.
Mike Collins,
the only way this
Collins.
works. That's exactly right. That's the only way this works.
Yeah. Okay. Let's address some of the trouble spots that have been so prevalent, and everybody knows about them. Let's first talk about the Southwick site, the eyesore that is in South Toledo. That used to be a hub of activity, just a great location, Matt, for Toledoans. And now, we run this video all the time. Unfortunately, it is what it is. What do we do down there?
Really. Well, the first thing
out-of-town owners.
Sure. The first thing that we have to understand is what the challenges are, and I would certainly suggest to you that the condition of Southwick today is not the reflection of the Bell administration or previous administrations. There's some development hurdles there. The development hurdles are the ownership structure and a handful of other things, and that's what we're going to go and we're going to look at.
Is there anything that you can do, the city can do, from this out-of-town ownership standpoint? We're kind of held hostage by this person.
Unfortunately, we are. That ownership structure is a challenge for us. There's no doubt about it. From my perspective, what we have to do is it goes back to the same principles that we've been successful with at the Port Authority, and that is to continue to build those relationships. We're going to meet with them. We're going to try to understand what their issues, what their hurdles are, and we're going to focus on overcoming those hurdles. Quite honestly, this is no different than many of the other projects we've gotten involved in.
Are the similarities, Matt Sapar, to Overland, where you had the old G Parkway site? The historic plant became just this old parcel. Is there something similar that could be done?
Yeah, I was just going to say that is exactly what we went through at Overland. We dealt with several different owners there. We were fortunate finally to get to someone that could make a decision, and the stars aligned, and we were able to get that. And I suspect that's a lot of what's going to happen at Southwick. But it all goes back to the same thing. We want to make sure that we built that relationship with that ownership structure, and that we don't just want to acquire the property to acquire the property. Sure. We want to have a vision for what that looks like. And we're working with a lot of different entities right now on how that's going to look. But we recognize that's the most visible sign of economic failure. Yeah. Our job is to obviously get it to a point where it's a sign of success, a victory for all of us. And that's what we're going to focus on doing.
And not only for the residents down there, but the businesses who have stayed.
Absolutely.
They deserve something better.
No doubt about it. Absolutely.
You mentioned you don't want to acquire a property just to acquire a property. Well, Dashing Pacific bought the Marina District. Still not a lot of movement there. What do you anticipate, 2 years in now from when they purchased the property? They got was it a 5-year deal?
Yes, I believe so.
Where the city has the option to buy it back.
Purchase it back.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to with the marina?
The first thing that I think that any public agency has to do when it acquires property is manage the expectation of what's going to happen with it. The reality of what happened was that when that property was acquired, we were in the midst of probably one of the greatest recessions that our community has seen in a long, long time. In fact, many commentators have said that it was really a depression. Well, what we have to do is manage that expectations. There's going to be meetings here in the next couple of weeks for us to better understand what the development looks like moving forward. I'm told that there is an appetite to move forward, but once again, not the holdup, but one of the challenges there is just there's a new administration in, and there has to be a comfort level with any investor you deal with, but specifically the owners of that property, with Mayor Collins, with Matt Sapara, with the administration in the city of Toledo. And that's what we're going to focus our resources on, is building that relationship and managing the expectations of how development looks forward. Look, they want to develop that property just as bad as we want to have it developed. I'm sure they don't enjoy just paying the taxes to pay the taxes. They want to get a return on that investment. Sure. If there was a market opportunity to do something there, they probably would have taken it. But what we're going to do is just follow up and understand what that market opportunity is moving forward and what the timing is on that.
Okay, best of luck with that, and also the existing buildings they already have in downtown Toledo that you try to bring businesses into as well.
Certainly.
A lot on your plate. A lot on your plate. But congratulations.
Thank you.
We wish you nothing but the best in your tenure as the Chief Economic Development Officer in the city of Toledo. Come January 2nd, right?
January 2nd. Thank you, Lee.
Happy holidays.
Thank
Best
you.
to
You
you
too.
and
your
yours.
family. Thank you.
Come back in just a minute. We're going to talk about New Year's Eve special event coming up in western Lucas County right after this.